several backlogs and calculated. And then we said that we can reduce the overall building time in terms of traditional constructions by 60% and reduce the required labor force by 40% on site. This is just benefits to the overall system because everyone is struggling for educated, good workers, and you need less in your system. That's just a benefit for that.
Forward Solutions Group is successfully driving companies to succeed where others have failed. Are you looking to start a factory, optimize your existing factory, streamline your production, or take your team to the next level? Whatever your needs are, Forward has a solution for you. Reach out to Ben at forwardsolutionsgroup.com. Howick Ltd. has a long history of innovation in cold form steel manufacturing and producing innovative precision roll forming technology for customers throughout the United States and the world. Check out their machine buyer's guide for off-site modular construction or fast build construction with light steel for framing. Go to their website, howickltd.com. Brought to you by Greatech, one of the largest Autodesk partners globally and software developer of the PowerPack Advanced Design, Advanced Steel, and the StruxSoft product line. The complete solution to automate wood and light gauge steel framing, design and documentation, all the way out to CNC output, model, design, and manufacture with StruxSoft. Learn more at struxsoftsolutions.com.
As we said, the technology, or there's the opportunity to put a lot of building services into our elements. And what we see here behind me, here are all the flooring elements, the slabbing elements. This is our basic slab. This is just a half floor, girder floor, or there are hundreds of other names for that. Within this, you can integrate electrical, tubes, wirings, everything you need in your ceiling. Openings for lights, lamps. You can even put in the full lamps directly in the factory, or just the void former to put the lamp then on site.
So the robots actually lay all of this out to include they could put the actual lights in the factory, and it automatically does the concrete, the rebar, everything.
Yes, technically it's what we are placing is magnets. So the robot is placing a magnet, and according to the design, the worker knows on this magnet what needs to be put on this magnet. The magnet is just a standard magnet, and on this different outlets or anything can be placed. But it's pre-designed and pre-engineered to get the most benefit to the client on site. But this is a regular slab. Here it's just set here for demonstration purposes. Otherwise it would be lying down. But it consists of a 5 to 7 centimeter concrete layer, the girder, and then on site you would put reinforcement on site, the topping reinforcement, and pouring concrete just to have, again, the monolithic building system. This is also very, very, very popular in Europe, and especially in Germany and in France. Almost all slabs are done with this system. Again, with this, push to the boundaries. Everybody more or less can do this. Then we thought about what can be done and how we can move on forward into the next part. The next part was the heating and cooling system. In Europe, generally, there is a lot of putting the heating and cooling into the floors. Traditionally on site, after everything is concreted, the technician comes and puts in wires, and then you put another cover on site. This was the traditional way of doing. With this, you can very efficiently heat a room, but for cooling the room, and cooling is actually the future, is just as it develops currently, and what we see from major cities, especially Vienna or Munich, where they actually have more energy in cooling now than in heating in the winter time. Therefore, the idea is also to prefabricate this a little bit, and therefore we developed
the climatic ceiling.
The climatic ceiling. This is the climatic ceiling. So you have tubes connected to the mesh directly in the factory, automatically bent, and then automatically fixed to the welded mesh, and then placed in the individual pallet and poured in concrete on top.
So the girder and the rebar cross sections are automatically bent and welded together and then placed.
Yes, more or less, if you want to, and depending on the production facility that you operate and you want to operate, because there are different production facilities, but it's generally possible, and this is how it's done. Currently, in this solution, this was the solution that we did for the last couple of years, is we put then an insulation layer just on top of that to reduce the weight of the slab and to increase the efficiency, because by creating another insulation layer inside of the slab, you actually get more heating or cooling down into the room where you actually want to have it.
Yeah, makes sense. And it would actually stop the floor above from having too hot or too cold feet.
Yes, this is also what you want to have. You want to have only the energy where you want to have it. A major thing that we always hear is, do I get a hot head or a cold head when you're having the heating and cooling the ceiling? It's not working heating up the air, but it's working through radiation. If you go outside on a very, very cold winter day, you're up in the Alps, and you're looking at the bright sun, on your skin it's going to get warm. Why? Because the radiation heat which reflects off your body.
And you're taking away the movement of air and all the dust, and it allows the dust to actually just settle down in the floor, right? So there's a lot of healthy benefits to this type of heating and cooling. And I read up a little bit on it. No matter where you are in the room, it's within a Celsius of a degree of any part. So like you said, it radiates to the whole room.
And every object in the room has the same temperature, and therefore it is actually quite comfortable. It's very difficult to describe because it's a feeling you have to really experience for yourself, and which really makes interesting room climate and room feeling. Here we are cooperating with World of Smart Homes, one of our other partners, together with them, combining the system with other facading system, with other integrated solutions, just providing them with this heating and cooling solution directly in the slab.
Yeah, World of Smart Homes, if you want to know what that means, Wash is one of the folks that brought us over here to look at these systems. And I have to tell you, I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you start seeing these systems in place like we're seeing here at your manufacturing facility.
A real life example, the city of Vienna is heavily subsidizing these kind of temperature ceilings just because of the efficiency. You can reduce the energy intake by 30% by running such a system. It might be the audience here a little bit from the Americans. We're not talking about the same thing as ACs. This is not an AC. It temperates your room. It cools it down to, let's say, 24, 25 degrees. But since everything in the room has the same temperature, it is actually quite comfortable. You do not need the 18 degrees coming out of the split AC.
Yeah, the duct system.
This is something you do not need because everything is cooled down.
Right.
The next thing that we moved on forward is the light slab. The idea was, especially in terms of sustainability, how can you even further reduce the amount of concrete required in your building just to make it overall lighter, being more efficient, and only have building materials where we actually need them. Therefore, we created something we call the Eco Slab. It is part of a two-part system. So we have a completely recycled base plastic part, which is placed in the factory, and depending on the ceiling height, depending on the span, depending on different factors, you can have different toppings, boxes on top.
That one versus this one.
A very small one, a very big one. Well, we have a couple more here, we have showcased a couple of those, just to reduce the amount of concrete required in your slabs.
And this does not affect the structural integrity of the slab?
It actually increases the structural integrity because you can create longer spans with the system.
Yeah.
You can go up to 11 meters in terms of the span.
Because you don't have the weight load.
Yeah, because weight of the overall slab is lower, and it's just a benefit on that. Furthermore, you have better sound barrier because you have different materials inside your slab, and so you have different advantages through it.
Insulation as well, yes?
Insulation as well, and you have also an economic benefit.
Right.
You're reducing 20 to 25% of overall reinforcement of your whole building. You can save this. You do not need this in foundations, in columns, in beams, in structural members. You can reduce this because you have a lighter structure. Still having the same structural properties, but having a lighter structure. This is the solution which is coming up, and we've not been actively marketing this, but we've actually been producing quite a lot. Well, we started this last year, and this is increasing in popularity and what we're producing.
Well, it should increase. You said 20, 25% less?
Yes.
Well, that's money in whatever the developer's pocket that's doing the project, one would hope, right?
Yes, but it's always the question the developer needs to, if the system has already been set, it's difficult to change the system at a late stage. So you need to be at the right stage of the process to go into. You also have to convince the structural engineers. It's not so easy because structural engineers are, in my experience, very conservative persons, completely understandable. They need to be 100% true to their word because otherwise the building is going to the building is going to fall down. And so they really need to be convinced. And therefore, it is from our side where we need to do education. We need to help the people what the calculations are behind and what are the benefits. And once they're confident with that, then they are just going to use this system or then the next system.
So R&D is a big thing, research and development. You're not only doing it here in-house, you have a facility in the manufacturer as well, but you're working with some of the best universities out there to really understand this works.
Yes, we do have a lot of research partners, either local or international. We're working together with technical universities in Munich, in Stuttgart, in Germany, in Austria, in Italy. Really depends where the core competencies of the universities lie, and there we try to get research partners.
Great. So what do we have here?
Here, this is the solution then for the office building.
Oh, this was in the conference room.
Yes, this was in the conference room. When we are talking about concrete buildings generally tend to have a very bad sound level. Why? Because through the very smooth surfaces, all the sound bounces and it reflects all the time. Therefore, if you're talking about office buildings, you really need to have a solution for that. Our solution is nothing new. Our solution is a Helmholtz resonator. It is just, again, the box. We have regular openings on the back side where the sound can come in. And then we have the box in the back together with mineral wool where the sound waves are absorbed and they do not come out. Together we can combine this with the heating and cooling. So now you have a climatic acoustic slab, acoustic climatic slab, where heating, cooling and the overall sound of a building has been optimized to perfection.
An acoustic climatic slab. Is that the way you said? Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah,
right?
acoustic climatic ceiling. Yes.
So, all right. So you have the technology to reduce the weight, first of all, and then you said, well, let's take it further because now we can use that same technology to put in the mineral wool or a rock wool that can be sound absorption right here, because this is a soft, right, to allow the sound to go through. So you're breaking up that bouncing and it's getting absorbed throughout. In the conference room that we've been sitting in is an example of that. To include, you're going to have the climatic ceilings in here as well, which could be the heating and the cooling.
Yes, that's it.
He says yes like it's normal.
Yeah, it is. At least for us in this region. This is state of the art, and we deliver this for several projects at the same time currently. This is just state of the art, and the major benefit there is you gain a lot of building height. Why do you gain building height? Because especially for the soundproofing, you would need to have a lowered ceiling. And by integrating all the building services into the slab, you can actually reduce the overall buildup of the whole ceiling and therefore build higher. And we had clients that gained an extra floor just by reducing the thickness of the slab.
Because of the static loads less.
Yes. And then if you have not 14 floors but 15, at the end of the day, this is sellable office space. This is sellable. This is what the people really want. Right,
for sure. So you really have a systemized approach here. So you started off with a systems approach with your double slab, wall system that you poured a monolithic concrete in, so to speak, right? And then with GreenCode and the R&D and your technology department upstairs here, you guys have been developing all these other solutions and just keep adding to the systemized approach for the builder, architects, developers. I mean, when you start including all of this into a system, you're reducing the amount of people that have to touch this on a job site.
This is what we want to. We want to reduce the personnel on site. We did several backlogs and calculated, and then we said that we can reduce the overall building time in terms of traditional constructions by 60% and reduce the required labor force by 40% on site. This is just benefits to the overall system because everyone is struggling for educated, good workers, and if you need less in your system, that's just a benefit for that.
How does the adoption of this this happen on a mass scale? Because at Progress Group, here you have a manufacturing facility, but you have partners throughout Europe. I think even you said Canada, where not only have you end up being their R&D division for them, but you have the equipment, you have the software, you have the knowledge, and you have the team of support that helps new manufacturers of concrete. Because like you said, you try and keep your shipping within a radius, but you guys are expanding through the use of partners.
Yeah, Canada not yet, hopefully soon.
Not yet, okay.
Hopefully soon. The thing is that with this system that we've seen here in the last couple of minutes, we are mainly focused on the European market just because this is where we come from. And here we work together with strong partners in Germany, partners in Poland, in Austria, in Hungary, who adopted the system and who adopted the quality code, the details, and so on. Because as a building system, you can only grow if more than one supplier can provide it. At the end of the day, you can have the best system that you have, and if only one is supplying it, you will never be able to reach a certain market level. And therefore, we are partnered up with several companies who agreed to work with the GreenCode details that we jointly developed and are providing it to the market. So actually, it would be possible for an architect who is building today in Milano, tomorrow in Munich, and the day after that in Warsaw, to having the GreenCode quality, but having it by different producers.
So if I'm out there, let's say I'm already doing concrete panels and I want to grow to the next level, would I be able to contact you and say, hey, listen, I'm interested in learning more about GreenCode. Can I take my factory to the next level? And that's something you would say to me.
This is what we do in a day-to-day business. It's just, if the interest is there, we are there and open to help and moving people to the next level. This is what we want to do. We want to achieve higher prefabrication rate. We want to increase the market rate. We want to increase technology and how we build in the future. We want to better the living conditions of the people worldwide. This is what we want to do.
And to lower the cost of affordable living.
If you are talking about sustainability, at the beginning we had a little bit, and sustainability industry is a lot of times it's only CO2. We try to take it bigger and having also not only the environmental sustainability, but also the social sustainability and the economical sustainability. It needs to be affordable. Again, if you don't have a system which is market affordable, you will never be able to get it through. So you need to have an added benefit to adopting the system. And this is just added benefit that we provide on a regular basis to all the GreenCode clients, and through that to thousands of projects worldwide.
To kind of wrap this in a bow, how important is not just the GreenCode process that you have in place, but how important is the automation of a factory production line like you've created here, where you can mass produce?
I think this is the future. What we'll see later on when we move to the factory is just the amount of automation, the amount of quality assurance that you can provide to the client. But the limitation with an automated system is always the process. You really need to be in control of the process, otherwise it doesn't work. And this is the way where we are helping the clients, where we're helping producers in moving forward. They are able to talk to architects, how they are able to talk to engineers, so that their process is going on smoothly.
The projects that you do, single family, multifamily, doesn't matter, hotels, how many stories?
This is also limited rather by what we are building here. We have a client in the Upper Austria. He did a tower 110 meters high, so 33 floors. No problem at all. Everything is possible. It just needs to be what the local population is appreciating. And just what we see here in Europe or in the central of Europe, multi-level housing is the future, somewhere between 3 and 6 stories. Having small communities, this is going to be a huge development in the next couple of years. Multi-level residential housings and social housings.
And not only that, with the lack of skilled labor, you're putting together a systemized approach where you can follow the process and anybody can learn this system without the highest skills. So we can still get the projects done on time, with accuracy, and with customer satisfaction.
Yeah, but this is the true clue behind it. The idea is to have more or less such a standardized system that you do not need to have the perfect guys. Because if you always need to have the perfect skilled labor, it also will not come into traction.
Right.
You need to have a process set aside where somebody who comes from a different work style comes in and works in it and works proficiently in it. He doesn't need to be a perfect master, but he needs to be good and working very quickly and very easily. Therefore, it's rather the process, how you do it, and this is where we are supporting our clients.
Well, I love it. So why don't we take a look at some of the projects you guys have been working on, and then we're going to do a factory tour, so stay tuned for that. That'll be coming up soon.
Then let's have a look.
What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you, and as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.